Communicating the diagnosis to the family is an important stage that follows the child's diagnosis. The news itself it's an emotional impact on the family, and that is why it becomes all the more important that the way in which it is communicated is as careful as possible. It is necessary for the doctor or therapist to be close to the family members and guide them further in the process. The information has a great emotional charge, and it is important that it be transmitted with gentleness and empathy. To whom is the diagnosis transmitted? For transmission diagnosis, it is important for the doctor or therapist to create a safe environment in which there are no disturbing factors or they are reduced as much as possible. Both partners are invited to the discussion. It is important that both are present so that the transmission of information does not have an intermediary, but it is described as clearly as possible for the couple. In the case of a single parent, it is recommended that he be accompanied by a loved one who can be there when the parent leaves the office after receiving the diagnosis. The moral and emotional support of such situations is a very important aspect. How the diagnosis is passed on the siblings. If we are talking about a family with several children, then it would be most appropriate for the parents to be the ones to transmit the diagnosis. Under no circumstances should this communication be avoided, as the other children would know that something is not right and will think that they are the ones creating problems in the family. It is important for parents to convey the information as clearly as possible to the children, to be together when they do this, to create a comfortable environment for the children, and to convey the idea that they should continue to enjoy their childhood as before. The parentification of the other children is far from a solution. The fraternal system is important to remain well defined and for them to play together, to enjoy their childhood. Most likely, some games will be adapted for the diagnosed child, but it is important that every member of the fraternal system gets involved and that there is no discrimination against the diagnosed child. On the contrary, to go for its integration in daily activities. How to transmit the information in the extended family and in the circle of friends. Usually, the first tendency of the parents is to hide the diagnosis from the extended family and especially from the circle of friends. The easiest way to do this is to stop attending meetings and gatherings with them, which represents a withdrawal from the community and from the social circle. Parents tend to hide out of shame, for fear of being excluded, for fear of the reaction of those around them, and above all, because they think that the fault belongs to them. This reaction is not constructive or is not a constructive one that will help the family in the long term. It is important that the information is transmitted to the whole family and close friends. The more hidden a diagnosis, the more the child will feel that there is something wrong with him. We think that they are small and don't realize it, but this is, in most cases, a false assumption. Passing on the diagnosis to those around you is something painful, with a lot of emotional charge, but is a stage and a process that is important for the family to go through together. It is the kind of situation that unites the members. Many times the reactions are much better than we expected. The people around try to help, to look for resources, to be with the family. What must what must be taken into account in the transmission of the diagnosis? When transmitting the diagnosis, two important aspects must be taken in account: presentation of information in a clear manner and early intervention. Taking into account the first aspect, if it is respected, there is less room for interpretation on the part of the parents for dramatizing the situation or, on the contrary, for neglecting the diagnosis. The second point is perhaps one of the most important, as it is necessary for the intervention to take place early. Every month that passes counts, and the action that the family will undertake during that period will be the ones that will make the difference. Future directions for the family. Perhaps one of the most important aspects that follows the presentation of the diagnosis is the description of future directions for the family to offer them a vision, a perspective. Couples therapy. The diagnosis has a great impact on the couple who ends up being deeply involved in the role of parent and less in the role of partner in the couple. It is important that the two parents do not neglect their relationship as a couple. Do not forget their role in the relationship beyond that of the parent. It is definitely difficult and often requires outside help, which is why recommended couples therapy. Equally important is family therapy, which involves the participation of other members in the therapy session, such as other children of the couple or even other members of the extended family. Explaining the importance of starting therapy. As I wrote above, early intervention is what makes the difference, and every passing day can have an impact on the child. Guidance to groups that are the same situation. The role of the community has proven to be a positive one since ancient times. That's how we survive, in groups. It is important for the family to get in touch with others who have gone through or are going through similar situations. Support groups for parents. This requires the family to participate in events that involve support from the community or from other families in the same situation. Here we are talking about group therapy, different workshops, or themed sessions. It is important that doctors and therapists convey the diagnosis with clarity, gentleness, and empathy. As for the parents, don't forget that it takes a whole village to raise a child. Call with confidence the community where you live and start the child's therapy early. The family is a system in which the situation of each member is felt in one way or another by all other members, and families in which there is a single child with autism are no exception for this rule. The diagnosis of autism affects every member of the family. Parents are especially concerned about providing help to the child with autism, a fact that puts other family plans under great pressure. Thus, the couple relationship can be affected by stress, the other children of the family can feel neglected, the responsibilities within the family can prevent professional development, but also the maintenance of friendship, high expenses can affect the financial stability of the family. The long absence of free time can and recreational activities become frustrated. In these conditions, both the adults in these families, as well as the brothers and sisters of children with autism, can feel emotions such as anger, sadness, disappointment, helplessness, guilt, frustration, fear, and loneliness. Although all these emotions are natural in such situation, their prolongation in time will amplify the suffering. For these reasons, families in which there are children with autism need specialized support to restore their balance, to identify strategies to deal with the life situation they face, to learn or relearn effective ways to listen, to communicate, to help each other, and to love each other.